So this might look totally ridiculous. Yep. I'm dressed for the weather cycling. Dressed for the winter cycling. Anyway, so I figured let's have a little fun, do something a little different. I want to talk about some of the gear I use when I am cycling during the winter. Makes it a lot more enjoyable and fun. I commute on my bicycles and mopeds. Lately, just bicycles. But I figured why not talk to you about what I've learned through the years to make it a lot more comfortable. It's actually getting a lot colder now as we speak here in New England. It was just 70 degrees a week ago, first week of November, and overnight, gotten frozen, below freezing. So let me go over why I'm dressed like this. It looks ridiculous, but man, it makes a world of difference. I have some expensive options and some cheap alternatives. I actually opt for some of the cheaper alternatives. So bear with me, and hopefully you learn a thing or two. Alright, so step one, gotta wear a helmet. When there's snow on the ground, there's ice on the ground, there's black ice on the ground, there's whatever. I've fallen. I'm an experienced cyclist. I've fallen. Wear a helmet. I've never regretted it. So that's step one. Make sure it's tuned good for you too. I'm actually in the process of getting myself a new one. So next up is the scarf. Actually, let's do it with the gloves. It's kind of funny. You have to listen to me with this. I started, normally during like the fall, I'm like yelling. I'm out of breath. Normally during the fall, I'll have like outdoor work gloves, or like I have some thinner gloves. Then my first pair of official cycling gloves were these Pearl Izumi's lobster gloves, or lobster claws. I got them at Filene's Basement for like $20. They're normally like 60 or 80 bucks. They are size small, and I have, medium large hands. But for the 4 years I was in college, these really were a game changer. I just couldn't afford 60, 80, so I found them. Deal of the century, found for 20 bucks. Now these ones, the No Fells, these are awesome runner-up. Rather than just doing 2 fingers and then 2 separate fingers for your brakes, you look like your favorite. Who's your favorite? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Mine's Donatello. So you can be holding on to the grips and then still actuate the brakes. So that's really handy. They're waterproof. Your nose is dripping. It's nice and soft. They're warm. They're just all around the best gloves I've ever bought and purchased for $20 or thereabouts. Biggest thing you can get. Next up is this hat. I think they call it a it's not baklava. That's the dessert. Balaclava or something. Baklava. So it's got a brim. Sorry, now I don't have to yell. So it's got a brim. It's fleece lined, water wicking. It keeps my ears nice and warm. All my facial piercings. I had an issue with my nose for years. That's why I first got this scarf for Christmas like 10 years ago. The wind on my nose, it really started hurting it. I got like a big piercing in there. And then the other reason was when you're breathing, when you go for a run or do any cardio and you breathe in a lot of cold air quickly, it really hurts your lungs. So having like an environment where you can breathe into, it really helps and makes it a much more enjoyable experience. Otherwise it can really hurt. So that's where this scarf comes in. This is a 100% wool scarf. Had it for years. You buy one nice quality scarf once, and it'll last nearly a lifetime if you treat it with respect. And really good purchase there. It was a gift from my mom for Christmas like 10 years ago or so. These gloves are actually super comfy. It's kind of cold in here. Going back to headgear, this is like an acrylic high vis. Doesn't really work well with the helmet. but you just want to cover up them ears. And for me, the nose is a really sensitive spot, so it also prevents chapped lips. You saw me come in with the eyeglasses. They do fog up when you're not outside. And even still, you kind of have to like get a nice channel for the air to come down here, so it doesn't come up and fog you out. But you hit rock salt from a car kicking up. You have rain or hail or snow, just the cold air in general. These really are a game changer. You get these from Harbor Freight or any hardware store for a couple dollars. You can use shooting glasses or whatever, but pair of safety glasses or sunglasses if the snow's real bright. I don't like sunglasses. Just a clear pair, couple dollar safety glasses is where I'm at with that. You don't have to get all the fancies. One pair of cycling goggles costs as much as my entire kit here. So I try to do things on the cheap when I can. Like these, I can report that these no fells, 100% recommend. The Balaclava Rock Bros brand. I really like Rock Bros stuff from my experience for the money. Great brand, 100% vouch on that. What else we got? The vest. So high vis vest, a couple dollars. I got this from the thrift store. I think this is a Workforce one. High vis also has the when the light hits this, really pops off. Going with that. So outer layer is my next layer. This is Marmot, my favorite brand for outdoor wear. Having something that has reliable cinch straps on your arms so the wind doesn't come up in there. Same thing here on the hips. The air will come right up. So you want something that you can tighten. These happen to have armpit pocket things, so like it can breathe real nice. When I take this off, you'll see the difference in quality. The other one was only $10-15 probably, but every single seam in this is taped. So this is totally waterproof, Gore-Tex. Found this at the thrift store. I usually do buy Marmot when I can, but this is probably an $80 plus outer layer. Totally waterproof, totally windproof. And it doesn't look like I'm wearing much for how cold it can get, but once 10 minutes into the ride, 5 minutes, half a block down the road, you're already generating enough heat. It's about containing that heat. And something I didn't kick this off with is layers, layers, layers. I'll repeat that probably a couple times. You want to have the selection and choice for what you need for the day. It might get colder at night. It might be cold in the morning. You might warm up real quick. But I always carry this with me or something like it for the impermeability so that the wind doesn't get through, and most importantly, the water doesn't get through. Something like this, if there's no water out there, I can get away with just wearing this. It shields most of the air. It's a little tight. I've gained a little bit of weight, but I've had this for 10 years. This is Marmot. You wouldn't know because it says on the shoulder, but I wore it so much that the pocket ripped off. It's like a synthetic wool, I think, with some fleece lined. It's treated me really, really well. 100% recommend this. This would be like your inner layer or inner shell. Going back to this one, my wife got this for me for Christmas, I believe last year. We saw a delivery guy with this, and as soon as the light hits it from a car, it pops. It's really, really bright. I think, probably $10 or $15 might be worth a shot. It's safe and it prevents the wind from getting in, and for the most part, it is water resistant for sure. I can vouch for that. It does have the hip cinches and stuff like that. So, but it looks really cool. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but like when the light hits that, you're going to be noticed. All right, so that's those layers, and then I will normally wear a sweatshirt because I like the hood for when I do get to work, and then I wear just like a normal cotton wicking layer. And if it's really cold, sorry, I'm a little disorganized right now. This is like a thermal layer. It's made out of fleece. You can also get the Fruit of the Loom ones. My pants are usually either, if I can, these. This was a gift from my wife's mom. I got it for Christmas probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I have the pants to match that. So underneath my jeans, or I used to wear these a lot. They're like a windbreaker. They're flexible, breathable, just easy to get on and off because I'll show you that in a second. The chamois, talk about that in a second. But if it's real cold, throw this underneath and then you're set for the whole day. My favorite piece of gear that I owned was a Marmot version of this. So this is an inner shell like the wool one I showed you, but it's like a membrane. So there's no wind getting through this. It's lightweight, has a little bit of fleece in it. It's surprisingly warm for how light it is. It'll wick the water relatively well. But this is like a top grade inner layer. I used to have a Marmot, but I grew out of it. So my mom got me this for Christmas a couple years back. Cloud Veil is this brand, but it's probably a little too expensive. I would still go with the Marmot if I could. That's what I would recommend. So it's like an inner shell. If you go to like a REI, I think EMS is out of business these days, but somebody like the person at REI, they'll tell you all about all this stuff. If you end up going there. So yeah, going to the chamois. So I started with this one. This was like a eBay find. It was like $5 for this. Grew out of it. Used it for a few years. If I'm using like a Brooks saddle, don't need this. But even during the spring and summer, if I'm using like a synthetic saddle or something less comfortable, I will opt for one of these. It's a little too small, which made it really uncomfortable. But if you size up with these cheap ones, they do the job. I managed, actually, maybe like a month or two ago, I was at the thrift store and saw 3 of these Fox chamois. So the same kind of deal here, but it's Fox brand. Quite a bit more comfortable, but they are size larger. I believe they are a woman's, but fits okay. It's a little tight, but it really nice for $4 a piece. I think I paid $3.99 each. So for $12 or thereabouts, I got some really nice chamois or whatever you call those. Then, so I kind of talked about these. These are just the R brands, the Richie or not Richie. I don't know. It's a no-name thrift store find. Windbreaker pants are where it's at for cycling in the winter, but trying these out. These are Gosh How pants. They are fleece lined. They kind of are that internal shell layer I was kind of talking about before. Reinforced knees, came with a belt. The crotch and other areas have kind of like that the breathing pockets. These were, because they were an odd size, I got them for $20. They're usually $40. They seem flexible, they seem breathable, they seem water resistant, affordable, and durable. So I'll do another follow-up if you're interested on these. A lot of people have given them positive reviews, and they matched my new shoes. So let's talk about shoes next, I guess. That's the Gosh How. So for shoes, if it's not super, super, super cold out, but it's a little wet, even if it's not cold out, I've been wearing these I went to Italy, last year, I believe. I got them for that trip. I do use Birkenstocks a lot. I got these like all rubber ones, and they've been the best shoes like ever. If it's raining out, they're waterproof, right? So you just dump your water out and change your socks and you're good to go, or don't even wear socks. If it's really cold, last year I would bring a change of, I have boots at work, and then I got these. They're Tretron, Tretorn, Triton. I don't know. I think it's English. They're like mucker boots. Like out in the brook or whatever. Totally waterproof. They fit inside of my MKS cages, no problem. A little bit of lining in them. They're relatively comfortable, but for cycling in the winter, snow, no matter what, those things were bomb-proof, rock solid. Huge fan of those. Got them for pretty cheap, secondhand. But this year, I'm trying out something, leveling up big time. So this is where all my money for this year went for my upgrade for my clothing. These are the Vans Gore-Tex MTE 3s, which are the waterproof ones. Got them for like $75 from a best offer from a kind person on eBay. Normally 100, 125. They're waterproof all the way up to here, supposedly. I went a half size up because I like to wear 2 pairs of wool socks. Definitely got to do wool. You can get away with like a cotton wicking layer and then wool, but I usually double up. But them being waterproof and stylish and Vans, I mean, come on, pretty cool, right? So we're going to try those out. I'll let you know what I think about those. Talked about, so the shoes are done, helmet, all that stuff. I guess just to wrap this up, enjoy yourself. Please be safe if you choose to commute during the winter. More than ever, you will be respected by more automobiles generally, because they think you're insane for riding your bike when there's snow on the ground. You might think that a wider tire is safer. I find the opposite. A thin 23C tire usually does the trick for me. It cuts right through. I do prefer a Kenda Quick these days. It's kind of like a semi-knobby, thin tire. They just went up in price a little bit. They were like $15. Now they're like 22 per, which isn't too bad. I do like riding fixed during the winter. Otherwise, I'll ride my aluminum mountain bike because of, steel does rust. But fixed really gives me a 1-to-1 and gives me control. If I'm losing control on ice, I actually am a lot safer, I find, on fixed. So even if when my knees are going, I do prefer to ride fixed during the winter. Definitely wear your helmet, layers, and have fun. I enjoy the commute. It really helps my headspace, my mental health. It really, it really just helps me transition in a meaningful way. And I just enjoy exercising and getting out there. And there's nobody on the bike trail because it's crazy winter time, and it's serene and peaceful and gives me motivation to get up and go. And there's just a lot of reasons why I enjoy cycling year round even. So hopefully this helped you. I would definitely recommend, just to reiterate, a little TLDR, these no fells for the money, the Rock Bros balaclava or whatever for the money, and probably get a chamois. Depends on your seat. I use a Brooks C15 cadmium. It's like a synthetic Brooks. It's not really that comfortable, but it's not leather either, so it'll last. I can just leave it outside and get snowed on. So this is kind of like I'm like in my 30s now, so this is kind of mandatory. Just make sure your extremities, you don't want to get frostbite, so cover up your nose, your ears, your fingers, your toes, making sure you got all your bases covered. But once you start spinning, when you get like 2 minutes in, your body will start generating heat. It actually isn't that bad. It really isn't. Once you start going, like you might actually find that you're taking layers off and bringing less layers with you. It is good to have a bag with you, a waterproof bag. I prefer a freight. I have a Chrome and an LL Bean if you need, or whatever. And you bring your layers with you. You might not need it right away, or you might not think you need it because it starts being a nice day out. But what happens on the back end if it actually is pretty bad? So bring those layers. if you have any suggestions for me that I didn't mention, lights, definitely put lights on your bike. It gets darker earlier. That's why I'm advocating all this high vis stuff. But bicycle lights, I can talk about like some of the accessories I bring if you want. But I'm interested in knowing what you guys bring. What you think is a worthy investment, or something on the cheap, or a hack. I put fenders on my bike on my bicycle, especially for this season. Something I don't normally do. What are you guys doing? I'd like to know. And yeah, let's keep on riding together, I suppose. So, till the next episode, yeah, peace.